Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Hey there, it's your boy Zedra back at it again with another Oscars season rundown. So, you know how every year we're all just trying to keep pace with Hollywood's perpetual awards horse race? Well, Oscar geeks are doing the same thing now that Sinners is blowing up in Venice, Telluride, and Toronto, analyzing the buzz like tea leaves at the bottom of a mug. The big hit of the spring has been Sinners, Ryan Coogler's juke joint vampire quasi-musical that's blown critics away and dazzled audiences to the tune of $278 million domestic. Now, we're all wondering if this is going to be a long-time-coming breakthrough for Coogler and his star Michael B. Jordan, or if the Academy is just getting squeamish about something. We should note that Coogler's Oscar history isn't exactly on the up and up, with Fruitvale Station and Creed both receiving rave reviews but not quite snagging the awards spotlight they deserved back in the day. Black Panther was his big breakout moment, scoring a Best Picture nomination and 3 wins overall, but neither he nor Jordan made it to the top of their respective categories. The real question is whether Sinners will follow in that same path or break some new ground for Coogler and Jordan. One thing's for sure, the Academy has shown itself to be increasingly cool with challenging, genre-bending material, like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Barbie. So maybe this time things will finally work out for these guys. But we can't just focus on Sinners, because Netflix is entering the fall with more Oscar contenders than any studio would know what to do with. And while everybody assumes it'll eventually narrow down to 2 or 3 major contenders, Venice didn't exactly clarify that for us, not to mention Toronto, where both J. Kelly and Frankenstein tanked. Although Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein did at least finish as a runner-up in the People's Choice Award. On the other hand, Catherine Bigelow is back after a 6-year absence with A House of Dynamite, which premiered to great acclaim at Sundance. And then there's Train Dreams, another small yet exquisite movie that would really benefit from a studio not juggling 3 massive Oscar contenders like Netflix does this fall. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the Oscars season: who's up, who's down, who's gonna win what. But first, let's talk about how we sort it all out. One way to do that is by looking at how these films fit into our broader cultural landscape. I mean, movies like PTA's latest are pushing boundaries and challenging voters in ways we just can't ignore. One battle after another has been opening up a whole lot of narrative possibilities, from Leonardo DiCaprio's possible second Best Actor Oscar to the question of whether Sean Penn is gonna get his 3rd Oscar for this one. And with movies like Sinners, J. Kelly, and Wicked, for good all vying for our attention, it's starting to feel like we're at a crossroads in terms of what we value as Oscars voters. In fact, the question of how to narrow down those contenders is often more interesting than who ends up winning. And let's be real, with sequels and franchise installments breaking all sorts of Oscar ground these days, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish between art and commerce when it comes to our Best Picture nominees. Take Wicked. For Good, for example, the sequel to last year's most financially successful Best Picture nominee. The bigger concern here is that we might be in trouble if For Good turns out to be a disappointment after all the hype surrounding Wicked. And then there's James Cameron and his latest Avatar installment, Fire and Ash. With 4 nominations overall for The Way of Water, but only 1 this year, it's gonna have to do something remarkable and surprising to get that 3rd consecutive Best Picture nomination. But amidst all the sequels and franchise extensions, there are some other stories worth telling, like Amy Madigan in Weapons, a horror movie with a buzzy performance from her as Aunt Gladys. I mean, can you imagine an Oscar campaign for that? It's not entirely crazy, right? Anyway, we're gonna have to keep following this story as the Oscars season heats up. But one thing's for sure, this year is shaping up to be another wild ride full of surprises and drama.